Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin.
There is a river flowing inside you, though you cannot see it and you cannot hear it. It does not glisten in the light, nor does it carry boats across its surface. Yet this river shapes the rhythm of your days and the colors of your thoughts. It is a river of molecules, gentle messengers drifting between cells, whispering to the mind how it should feel. One of the most important currents in this hidden stream is serotonin, a quiet chemical that moves softly but influences everything from the rise of your morning mood to the depth of your nightly dreams. Imagine waking to the touch of sunlight. As the light reaches your eyes, tiny signals begin their journey deep into the brain. They tell the cells to wake, to open, to welcome the day. Among those signals, serotonin stirs like a soft chorus greeting the dawn. It is not loud, it is not hurried. It is steady, flowing into the spaces between neurons, carrying a message of balance. Without it, mornings might feel gray and nights might never release their weight. Serotonin is the chemistry of steadiness, the gentle anchor to your shifting tides of thought. In the folds of the brain lies a small cluster of neurons called the raphe nuclei. This cluster, though small, is like the source spring of the river. From here, serotonin is released and carried through intricate pathways, reaching different corners of the mind. Some flows toward the regions that govern mood, softening sadness, weaving calmness. Some flows toward areas that shape memory, attention, and even appetite. It is as if this river feeds many gardens at once, each blooming in its own quiet way because the water keeps coming. Scientists have spent decades trying to understand why this single molecule holds so much influence. They discovered that serotonin does not simply lift happiness the way sunshine lifts flowers. Instead, it balances, it steadies. It creates the background tone upon which your other emotions play their songs. When serotonin flows smoothly, the melody of your life feels gentle and connected. When it dries or falls low, the songs become sharp, restless, or heavy. This is why the river is so important, not for its noise, but for its silence. Consider the way you feel after walking in the forest, or sitting near the ocean, or letting the wind brush against your skin on a cool evening. Serotonin is part of that sensation. It is linked to the light you take in, to the rhythm of movement, to the texture of breath. The body knows how to weave it quietly, using the food you eat, the sunlight you receive, the cycles of sleep and wake. In the deep fabric of your biology, serotonin is both a thread and a dye, shaping not only structure but also shade. And yet serotonin is not only of the brain. It travels through your body, settling in your gut, filling almost every corner of your digestive system. In fact, most of the serotonin within you is found there, not in your mind. It helps the muscles of the intestines move food with rhythm. It tells the body when to push forward, when to slow. The gut, often called the second brain, hums with serotonin's guidance. And in this, you feel another truth, that emotions are not only in thoughts, but also in the body, woven through sensation and breath. The river moves, but it is also delicate. Too much and the mind may race, too little and the world may dim. This fragile balance is the reason scientists created medicines that shape serotonin's flow. These are called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs, and they are designed to keep serotonin in the space between neurons for longer, letting its voice be heard more clearly. For some, this brings steadiness, lifting the heavy fog of depression or quieting the restless waves of anxiety. But even science knows serotonin is never the whole story. It is part of a larger chorus, one instrument in an unseen orchestra. Still, the poetry of serotonin lies not only in medicine or biology, but in the simple experiences of life. A warm meal shared with a friend, laughter echoing in the air, the hush of twilight settling over a field, all of these stir the flow of serotonin. It is the molecule of connection, of contentment, of feeling that the world for a moment is gentle and whole. When you feel at ease, when you breathe deeply and smile softly, it is the river of serotonin that has carried you there. Now imagine standing near a quiet lake. The surface is calm, but beneath it currents move. Fish dart between reeds, light filters downward, and unseen forces shape the stillness above. Serotonin works in the same way. You may not notice it directly, but it underlies the stillness, giving the surface its calm. Without it, ripples might become storms. With it, the lake reflects the sky in perfect silence. This is the beginning of serotonin's story, not as a chemical to memorize, but as a river to feel. It is the current that guides your emotions without asking for praise. It is the quiet beat. A lance that lets joy rise without breaking, that lets sorrow pass without drowning. It is why you feel the way you feel, even when you cannot explain why. And in the gentle language of science, serotonin is both messenger and mirror, showing you how deeply the mind and body are bound, and how quietly life's chemistry whispers through the hours of your day. Let us drift deeper into this river of serotonin, moving gently along its pathways, following where it leads in the quiet corridors of the body and the mind. If the first glimpse of this molecule was like seeing the shimmer of water from a distance, now we walk along its banks, tracing its bends and learning how it touches everything around it. Serotonin does not only pass through the brain as a fleeting messenger. It lingers in cycles of nature, in rhythms of time, in the deep conversation between body and environment. To know it is to sense how connected we are to the world around us. Begin with light, for serotonin listens to it closely. When dawn arrives, light streams through the eyes and stirs the cells of the retina. Those cells whisper to the brain, telling it that morning has come, and from this whisper, serotonin rises. It is as if the brain takes the light and translates it into chemistry, creating a molecule that spreads warmth through thought. This is why a bright morning can feel lifting, why a walk in sunlight can ease sadness, and why the darkness of winter can sometimes weigh heavily. Serotonin is tied to the sky, to the turning of the earth, to the ancient cycle of night and day. From light, serotonin passes to sleep. The body transforms serotonin into melatonin when night falls, folding the wakeful current into a darker, slower one. Where serotonin tells you to stay balanced, melatonin tells you to rest. They are siblings in a cycle, turning into one another as the hours pass. Without serotonin, melatonin cannot be born, and without melatonin, sleep cannot come gently. This rhythm reminds us that emotions are not floating clouds, but woven into the very fabric of time. Each morning and evening, serotonin plays its part, holding you steady between waking and dreaming. But the story does not stay only in the head or the clock of day and night. Serotonin reaches into memory, shaping the way you remember and reflect. Think of a moment of laughter long ago and notice how your body feels lighter as you recall it. Serotonin flows through the hippocampus, the region that stores memory, helping to decide which memories stay bright and which fade into shadows. Without its steady touch, memories can lose their balance, leaning too heavily toward fear or sorrow. With it, the mind can carry not only the weight of experience, but also the calm to bear it. Then the river turns again, flowing through appetite. Serotonin influences hunger, guiding when you feel full and when you feel drawn to eat again. After a nourishing meal, serotonin rises, telling the body to rest in contentment. This is not merely about food, but about balance. Serotonin is one reason why comfort can be found in a warm bowl of soup, or why sharing bread with another person feels deeply satisfying. The molecule does not only regulate digestion, it binds nourishment with emotion, weaving biology into experience. And so serotonin is not only about inner calm, but also about connection. It flows in social bonds, lifting feelings when we share trust or kindness. Scientists have found that serotonin can increase when we experience closeness with others, when we give and when we receive care. It is a bridge between self and other, teaching us that our moods are not only private but shared, shaped by the warmth of community. Imagine sitting beside a friend, the silence between you soft but filled with ease. Serotonin is part of that silence, part of that ease, reminding you that the chemistry of well-being often blooms in the presence of others. Let us also notice how delicate this river can be. When stress becomes heavy, the body releases hormones that cloud the brain, and serotonin may struggle to flow as freely. This is why constant stress can lead to restlessness, sadness, or exhaustion. Yet even then, the river can be guided back toward calmness through gentle practices. A walk outdoors, a breath that slows, a moment of gratitude, each of these can help serotonin rise again. It is not a sudden flood, but a slow return of water into its channel, steadying the soil, softening the mind. The connection between serotonin and the gut deepens this picture. Nearly all the serotonin in your body is produced not in the brain but in the intestines. Tiny cells lining the walls of the gut release it as food passes, as bacteria thrive, as digestion hums. These bacteria, called the microbiome, are like gardeners of serotonin, tending to its balance through the food you eat and the health of the inner ecosystem. When the gut is nourished with variety and care, serotonin flows more smoothly. Why, when it is neglected, the river may grow shallow. This link between gut and mind shows us that emotion and digestion are not strangers, but companions in the body's design. Now picture the seasons. In summer, sunlight is long, and serotonin rises easily, bringing brightness to the mind. In winter, darkness stretches and serotonin may sink, leaving some with heavy moods called seasonal affective disorder. Here again, science and poetry meet. The body is not apart from the Earth's turning, but synchronized with its cycles. Your mood listens to the orbit of the planet, your chemistry moves with the tilt of the Earth. Serotonin is the thread tying inner weather to outer sky. As we move deeper, we find that serotonin is also about learning patience. It shapes how the brain waits, how it resists impulse, how it chooses long-term calm over short-term excitement. Experiments with animals have shown that serotonin pathways light up when patience is needed, when the mind chooses to pause rather than leap. This means that every quiet decision, every moment of restraint, is supported by the gentle chemistry of serotonin. It is the molecule of waiting, of sitting still in calmness, of choosing peace over hurry. And finally, let us return to the feeling of connection between self and world. Serotonin teaches that happiness is not a sharp peak but a soft field. It is not about sudden surges of joy, but about steady contentment that hums quietly in the background of life. It does not demand notice, yet it shapes everything. In this way, serotonin is not only a molecule but a lesson. That well-being often comes not from extremes but from balance, from rhythm, from the soft flow of currents that never stop moving. The river of serotonin runs through us all, linking the spark of light in the morning sky to the calm of the evening breath, from the food we eat to the laughter we share, from the patience we hold to the sleep that carries us into dreams. It is not a single note but a continuous song, one that reminds us that to feel is to be alive, and to be alive is to be connected to body, to time, to earth, and to each other. The river of serotonin has guided us through its origins and its pathways, its ties to light and memory, appetite and patience. Now let us follow it toward a gentle closing, where science folds into reflection, and the molecule story becomes not only about biology but about meaning. Serotonin, though built of atoms and bonds, is also a kind of poetry, a quiet reminder that the smallest things shape the largest feelings, that chemistry and experience are threads in the same fabric of being. Think of how often you do not notice serotonin at work. When you wake and feel calm enough to greet the morning, serotonin is there. When you eat and feel satisfied, when you walk and feel light, when you share a moment of kindness and feel content, serotonin is flowing softly in the background. It asks for no attention. It does not sing loudly. It only supports gently, quietly, holding you steady. This invisibility is part of its wonder, that something so small can shape so much, without you ever needing to know. Science continues to explore serotonin, mapping its receptors, its pathways, its countless roles in mood, digestion, and sleep. Yet even as discoveries unfold, there is mystery. Serotonin does not act alone, and researchers know that depression, anxiety, or joy cannot be explained by it entirely. Dopamine, oxytocin, norepinephrine, and many others join in the orchestra. But serotonin is the hum beneath them all, the soft background note that steadies the song. To focus on it is to notice the rhythm that underlies emotion, the steady pulse beneath life's shifting chords. And so the river becomes a teacher. It teaches that balance matters more than extremes. It shows that well-being is not a single spark but a slow flame. It whispers that joy is not only in peaks of excitement but also in the gentle contentment of ordinary hours. It suggests that sadness too has its place, reminding us that life is not about never sinking, but about being carried gently until we rise again. In this way, serotonin is less about constant happiness and more about resilience, the ability to bend like grass in the wind and to lift once more when the storm has passed. Now picture yourself beneath trees at dusk, where the light is fading but the world feels whole. You breathe deeply and a sense of calm drifts through you. This moment is made of chemistry and yet feels like something more. Serotonin is there, weaving calm into your body, binding the science of molecules with the sensation of peace. And in that quiet moment, you feel both small and vast. Small, because you are made of tiny invisible currents, and vast, because those currents connect you to every rhythm of the earth. Serotonin also teaches that we are never separate. The food you eat becomes the material for serotonin. The sunlight you stand in becomes its spark. The company you keep shapes its flow. You are connected to the soil that grows your food, the star that lights your days, the people whose laughter stirs your calm. Serotonin is the thread tying you to the larger world, showing that happiness is not only within but around, born from connection. When you feel steady, it is not only your biology but your belonging. Even in medicine, where serotonin is adjusted by pills and therapy, the lesson is the same, that life is about balance, not perfection. The molecules can help restore the current, but it is the flow of living, the walks, the breaths, the connections, the kindnesses that deepen the river. The science supports the poetry, but the poetry is lived through your days. Serotonin is the molecule, but peace is the practice, and both belong together. As this story closes, imagine the river once more. It winds quietly through your body, shaping your mood, your patience, your rest. It is unseen, but it is present. It is gentle, but it is powerful. And like any river, it reminds us of time, always flowing, never still, carrying you from one moment to the next. You cannot hold it, but you can feel its presence. You cannot see it, but you can notice its gift. To honor serotonin is to honor the hidden rivers that shape our lives, carrying us quietly, steadily, toward the sea of experience. And so the river of serotonin teaches its final lesson, that you are both chemistry and story, both biology and feeling, both molecule and meaning. It is why you feel the way you feel, why mornings rise with light, why evenings soften into rest, why connection brings calm, why balance feels like home. It is not the only river, but it is one of the most important, a current of calmness, of patience, of resilience, of quiet joy. And as it flows through you, it whispers the same gentle truth, that to be alive is to be balanced, and to be balanced is to be at peace. Now let this story settle, like water finding stillness. The river continues, though you may not follow it with thought. It moves inside you, steady and calm, reminding you that the science of feeling is also the poetry of life. In this stillness, let the molecule be not only a fact but a friend, a companion in the journey of being human, a gentle river you can always trust to carry you onward softly, silently, into the next breath. The sunlight within you is older than memory, older than the oceans, older than the earth itself. It began in the heart of stars, in furnaces where hydrogen fused into light, where brilliance was born in silence. Some of that ancient light still lives in you now, carried through molecules, hidden in your bones, woven into the very shape of life. When you stretch your hand toward the sun, you are not only greeting its warmth, you are remembering your origin. For serotonin, that gentle river of balance is awakened by light, and in this, the sunlight becomes a part of your being, a companion in your everyday. When photons from the sun touch your eyes, they do not stop at vision. They drift deeper through cells and signals, reaching the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain, a small cluster that keeps time. This cluster whispers to the rest of the body, telling it when to rise, when to rest, when to eat, when to dream. And in those whispers, serotonin stirs. The brain listens to light like a poet listens to music, translating brightness into chemistry. The sunlight is not only seen, it is felt as balance, as calm, as the background song of contentment. This is why light and mood are so deeply entwined. In the bright length of summer, serotonin flows more freely, lifting the mind with ease. In the short grayness of winter, serotonin may fall, leaving some to feel the shadows of seasonal sadness. The body listens to the sky just as the tide listens to the moon. Your inner state is not separate from the turning of the earth, it is synchronized. The sunlight above and the serotonin within are two verses of the same song. But the story of sunlight does not end with serotonin alone. The body also takes light and turns it into vitamin D, another molecule that weaves into bones and moods. Vitamin D supports serotonin, shaping the way it is made, the way it flows. This is the deep partnership of sunlight and chemistry, photons striking skin, molecules stirring beneath, balance emerging quietly. The warmth you feel in sunshine is not only in your skin, but also in your cells, in your brain, in the river of serotonin guiding your feelings. Imagine a morning walk, the path soft beneath your feet, the trees alive with quiet breath. As the light touches your eyes, serotonin rises gently, steadying your mood for the day. The rhythm of your steps deepens the flow, for movement itself is another song that encourages serotonin to grow. Light and motion together create a harmony, a weaving of body and sky. This is why exercise outdoors often feels so calming, why a simple stroke. Beneath the sun can mend restless thoughts. It is not only the scene around you, but the chemistry within you, working hand in hand. The sunlight also speaks through cycles of sleep. During the day, it helps keep serotonin alive, but as night approaches, the body begins to transform that serotonin into melatonin, the keeper of dreams. In this way, sunlight sets the rhythm of your rest, guiding the turning of hours. Without enough light, serotonin may falter and sleep may stumble, leaving you restless. But with the right rhythm, the body flows like a tide, waking and resting in harmony with the world. The light outside becomes the pattern of the light inside. Scientists have studied this relationship with gentle curiosity. They have placed people in dim rooms without natural light, and slowly serotonin begins to fall, mood begins to shift, and sleep becomes unsettled. Yet when they bring sunlight back, or even lamps that mimic its brightness, serotonin rises again, mood softens, balance returns. It is as if the body remembers what it was missing, as if the cells sigh with relief when light finds them once more. The truth becomes clear. We are creatures of the sun, carrying its rhythms within us. But let us pause here in the poetry of this truth. The sunlight in your bones, the serotonin in your mind, the calm in your breath, all of them are part of one continuous story. The story of a star burning millions of miles away, sending its warmth through space, touching the earth and awakening life. Serotonin is one chapter of that story, a molecule that translates light into balance. And so when you feel the sun on your skin, know that you are not only warmed but reminded that you are born of light, guided by light, and still, in every quiet way, alive with its gift. Now imagine yourself standing in a meadow at dawn. The world is cool, but the first rays of the sun brush against your face. Slowly you feel a shift, a lifting inside, though you cannot see it. That is serotonin flowing gently, carrying the light into your emotions. It is the sunlight within you, quiet but powerful, reminding you that the chemistry of peace is also the poetry of stars. Let us move further into this story of sunlight and serotonin, drifting from the first gentle touch of dawn into the deeper fabric of how light and chemistry shape our lives. The connection between them is not simple, but layered, like ripples on a pond that widen outward. When sunlight strikes the eyes, it awakens not just vision, but timing, mood, energy, and even memory. It is as though light is a sculptor, carving the shape of your day, and serotonin is the clay, soft enough to be molded, strong enough to hold form. Within the brain, serotonin moves along networks that are both intricate and delicate. One pathway flows toward the limbic system, where emotion resides. Another travels to the prefrontal cortex, where thought and decision take shape. Still others find their way to the hypothalamus, regulating hunger, temperature, and the cycles of hormones. Everywhere it goes, serotonin listens to light, carrying its message in silence. This is why the absence of light feels heavy, and why its return feels like relief. You are not simply seeing brightness with your eyes. You are carrying it inside your mind, letting it weave into your being. Consider the migration of animals across the globe. Birds follow the sun, whales dive according to the seasons, flowers open when daylight lengthens. In all of them, serotonin or molecules like it respond to the light, shaping behavior. Humans, though more complex, are no different. Your mood, your appetite, even your patience are all tied to the rhythm of light and darkness. The sunlight outside is mirrored by a sunlight within, expressed in serotonin's rise and fall. It is a reminder that you are not apart from nature, but one with its cycles. This becomes clearest when the seasons shift. In summer, when light stretches across long days, serotonin flows with ease and many feel more energized, more at peace. In winter, when nights linger, serotonin falls and for some the world feels heavier. This pattern is known as seasonal affective disorder, a quiet reminder that even modern lives, filled with lamps and screens, still bow to the sky. Light therapy, where artificial brightness is given at dawn, can lift serotonin once more, restoring balance. The cure is simple but profound. Bring the sun back and the river flows again. And yet serotonin's ties to light are not only about mood, they are also about memory and learning. In the hippocampus, light influences serotonin, and serotonin shapes the way new experiences are stored. This is why bright mornings often feel clearer, and why study or reflection in natural light seems to linger in the mind. Light sharpens serotonin's ability to weave memory so that the pattern of experience holds firm. The past is not only remembered by thought, but by the chemi. Stri that light and serotonin create together. Another ripple reaches into movement. When you walk outdoors, the rhythm of your steps joins with the rhythm of light, and serotonin rises higher than it would with light alone. Exercise increases the release of tryptophan, the building block of serotonin, allowing more of it to flow. When this happens under sunlight, the effect is doubled, like two rivers joining. This is why running beneath the sky feels so cleansing, why even gentle movement in daylight brings calm. The body listens to light and to motion, and serotonin becomes the voice that translates them into peace. There is also a quiet conversation between serotonin and melatonin, the keeper of sleep. Light suppresses melatonin during the day, allowing serotonin to rise. When evening comes and light fades, serotonin becomes the raw material from which melatonin is made. The body thus creates a cycle. Light creates serotonin, serotonin becomes melatonin, melatonin restores rest, and rest prepares the body to feel light again. It is an endless loop, a circle of chemistry that mirrors the circle of day and night. Within you, the turning of the earth is echoed, and serotonin is the bridge that makes it so. Scientists once believed serotonin's role was simple, but as research deepened, they found that it is like a prism, scattering into countless colors. It regulates appetite, yes, but also the speed of thought, the ease of patience, the gentleness of mood. It interacts with other chemicals like dopamine, balancing reward with calm, excitement with steadiness. Without serotonin, dopamine may race unchecked, leaving thoughts restless. With serotonin, the mind steadies like water smoothing into a calm surface. Light is part of this balance, for it stirs serotonin, giving it the strength to hold the mind steady. But beyond the science lies a quieter truth. To stand in sunlight is to feel not only warmth but belonging. The same photons that strike your eyes also struck the oceans billions of years ago, awakening the first forms of life. The same cycles that shape serotonin also guided your ancestors, telling them when to plant, when to harvest, when to rest. Light is history. Serotonin is memory. Together they remind you that your life is not an accident, but a continuation of ancient rhythms, still flowing, still alive, still within you. Imagine now a winter morning, dim and quiet. You open the curtains and let in the pale light. At first it seems faint, but soon a subtle shift begins inside you. It is serotonin rising in response, carrying the light into the folds of your brain. Your mood softens, your breath slows, your patience steadies. The sun has touched you, not only on your skin, but within your mind. And in this you feel the truth, that the sunlight outside has always been the sunlight within, joined by the river of serotonin, flowing quietly, carrying you through the hours of your day. The sunlight within, translated into serotonin, is not only about cycles of mood and sleep, but about a deeper truth, that life itself is bound to light. As we reach the final bends of this story, let us slow down and listen more closely to the quiet lessons carried in this molecule. Serotonin is more than chemistry. It is the language through which the body converses with the sun, through which the cosmos whispers into your cells. To follow its current is to understand how intimately you are connected with the universe, how much of the sky is folded into your being. The river of serotonin begins in darkness with tryptophan, an amino acid that the body cannot make but must gather from the food you eat. This simple nutrient, carried in grains, seeds, and fruits, becomes the seed of light within you. With the help of enzymes, it turns first into 5-HTP, then into serotonin, and later into melatonin. Each transformation is like a step in a dance, each step timed by the rhythm of day and night. And all of it depends on light. Without the sun, the cycle falters, like a dance without music. Serotonin is proof that even the smallest molecule in your mind is part of a story that began in the stars. When you feel calm, when you feel content, when you feel able to breathe deeply and rest, serotonin is the companion behind those feelings. But it is not alone, it is part of a greater orchestra of chemistry. Dopamine sings of reward and anticipation. Oxytocin hums of connection and trust. Endorphins bring relief. GABA creates stillness. Together, they shape the inner landscape of your being. Yet serotonin is the steady bass note, the constant rhythm beneath it all. Without it, the song wavers. With it, the music holds steady, balanced whole. And because serotonin rises with light, the sun itself becomes part of the song. Now think of the way morning light feels after a long night. At first, it is quiet, almost shy. Then it grows, stretching across the room, reaching your face, awakening something inside you. That thing is serotonin, flowing gently, lifting your mood before you even realize it. The body translates light into chemistry, and chemistry into feeling until you, too, are lifted by the dawn. This is why mornings carry hope, why daylight feels like renewal. It is the sunlight within, awakened by serotonin, guiding you toward balance once more. The story deepens when we remember how fragile this balance can be. Too little light, too little serotonin, and the mind may sink into sadness. This is not weakness, but biology, a reflection of how dependent we are on rhythms older than ourselves. Seasonal affective disorder, depression, insomnia, all are tied in part to this delicate dance between sunlight and serotonin. Yet even in these struggles, there is hope. Light can be invited back, whether by stepping outdoors, by letting the sun touch your skin, or by creating gentle routines that restore rhythm. The river can be guided, the flow can be restored. Serotonin teaches us that healing is not sudden but gradual, like the slow return of spring after winter. The sunlight within also carries lessons of patience. Serotonin is released not in bursts but in steady streams, shaping mood quietly without drama. It tells us that well-being is not about sudden peaks of joy, but about gentle steadiness, about the background calm that allows joy to be noticed at all. This patience is written into the molecule itself, and by listening to it, you learn to move through life with softness. You learn that contentment does not shout, it hums quietly like the flow of a river beneath the surface. And so the sunlight within is not only science but metaphor. It is the reminder that you are both body and star, both molecule and meaning. The photons that stir serotonin today are the same that began in the heart of the sun, perhaps millions of years ago, traveling across space before entering your eyes. That journey ends within you, transformed into balance, into calm, into feeling. You are, in a very real sense, carrying sunlight in your brain, woven into your chemistry, shaping your experience of life. The cosmos is not far away, it is within you, speaking through serotonin. Imagine then the close of day. The sun lowers, shadows grow, and your body begins to turn serotonin into melatonin. The bright molecule of balance becomes the dark molecule of sleep. The river shifts just as the sky shifts and you are carried into dreams. This transformation is not separate from the world outside, but mirrors it exactly. As light fades in the sky, it fades within, and as darkness grows outside, it grows inside, guiding you to rest. Your body and the earth are synchronized, two halves of the same cycle, joined by the flow of serotonin. At last, let us return to the meadow at dawn, to the place where this story began. The sunlight brushes your skin, the river stirs within you, and you feel calm, connected, whole. You may not think of molecules, of receptors, of pathways, but they are there, quietly shaping your peace. You are alive with sunlight, not only outside but within, and serotonin is the river that carries it. This is the gift of light, to remind you that life is balance, that peace is gentle, that you are part of something vast yet carried in something small. The sunlight within is not a metaphor alone, but a truth written into your very being. Serotonin is the proof, the quiet current translating photons into feelings, chemistry into calm. And as this story ends, let it leave you with this, that every breath you take in the morning light is part of a cosmic dance, that every calmness you feel is a reflection of the sun, that within you flows the river of balance, steady and soft, carrying the warmth of the stars into the silence of your days. Balance is one of the quietest forces in the universe, and within the body it takes shape through countless rhythms. The heart beats in a pattern, the lungs rise and fall, the cells divide and renew, and in the brain, molecules move in delicate harmony. Among them, serotonin is the gentle keeper of balance. It is not about joy alone, nor sorrow, nor desire, nor calm. It is about steadiness, about creating a soft foundation on which all other feelings can rest. To understand serotonin is to understand balance, and to feel its touch is to sense the chemistry of calm. Picture a still pond at dawn. The surface is smooth, reflecting the sky, and even though currents move beneath, the surface remains unbroken. This is what serotonin does for the mind. It allows emotions to flow without spilling, thoughts to move without crashing, memory to shift without overwhelming. Without serotonin, the pond would ripple endlessly, disturbed by every gust of wind. With it, there is stillness, there is space, there is quiet. This is why serotonin is so deeply tied to well-being. It creates the conditions in which peace can exist. Scientists discovered serotonin more than 80 years ago, first in the gut, where it guided digestion, then in the brain, where it shaped mood. Since then, they have mapped its pathways, its receptors, its delicate balance with other chemicals. Yet what they find again and again is that serotonin resists simple description. It is not a single role but many, not a single effect but a network. It is the molecule of patience, of appetite, of learning, of resilience. Its presence is like a soft weight that steadies the mind, a reminder that balance is not an accident but a design. In the raphe nuclei of the brainstem, serotonin is released, and from there it travels outward, reaching the cortex, the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, and beyond. Each destination interprets its message differently. In the hippocampus, serotonin helps shape memory, softening the edges of fear so that past sorrows do not overwhelm. In the hypothalamus, it regulates hunger and thirst, ensuring that needs are met without excess. In the prefrontal cortex, it tempers decisions, allowing patience to guide action. Everywhere it flows, serotonin says the same thing in different voices: keep steady, keep balanced, keep calm. The chemistry of calm is not constant, but responsive. When sunlight strikes the eyes, serotonin rises, lifting mood and sharpening thought. When night falls, serotonin shifts into melatonin, guiding rest. When food is eaten, serotonin flows through the gut, steadying digestion and signaling fullness. When kindness is shared, serotonin joins with oxytocin, deepening connection. Each moment, the molecule listens and responds, not to create extremes, but to maintain balance. It is not the loud note of a song, but the tuning that keeps the song in harmony. Yet balance is fragile. Stress, loss, illness, each can unsettle serotonin's flow, leaving the mind restless or heavy. This fragility is why so much attention has been given to serotonin in medicine, particularly in the treatment of depression and anxiety. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs, are designed to let serotonin remain longer between neurons to give its message more time to be heard. For many, these medicines bring relief, restoring calm where it was missing. For others, they are only part of the answer, for balance is never chemistry alone, but also experience, memory, connection, and time. Still, to focus only on illness is to miss the greater poetry of serotonin. It is present not just when things are wrong, but also when things are right. It rises when you walk through sunlight, when you share laughter with a friend, when you breathe slowly in stillness, when you feel contentment without reason. These are not accidents, but reflections of biology, the body's way of weaving balance into daily life. Serotonin is the invisible hand that steadies joy, the quiet river that carries calm, the soft thread that ties together mind and body. Now imagine the feeling of lying beneath trees on a warm afternoon, the leaves moving softly, the air filled with birdsong. In that moment, you may feel a quiet sense of belonging, a stillness that does not demand anything more. That is serotonin flowing gently, reminding you that peace is not distant but present, that calm is not rare but woven into you already. It is the chemistry of calm, the balance within, the reason you can feel at ease even in the simplest of moments. As we begin this story of balance, let us hold on to that image of the pond at dawn, still, steady, reflecting the sky. Serotonin is that stillness within you, the quiet foundation on which everything else can move. To know it is to know balance, to feel it is to feel calm, and to honor it is to honor the quiet power that carries you through the turning hours of your life. Let us step further into the quiet harmony of serotonin, into the chemistry of calm that touches not just the brain but the whole of life. If section 1 was the surface of the still pond, now we dive deeper, tracing how the waters of balance ripple outward into every system, every thought, every breath. Serotonin is not a single story. It is a web of connections, each strand linking body and mind, science and experience, biology and meaning. Begin with the gut, where most of the body's serotonin lives. More than 90% of this molecule is not in the brain at all, but in the intestines where it guides the flow of digestion. As food passes, serotonin is released, telling muscles when to contract, when to relax, when to move forward. Without it, digestion would lose its rhythm and the body would lose its balance. But the gut is not only a place of movement. It is also a place of conversation, where bacteria, nutrients, and cells exchange signals that shape the mind itself. The microbiome, the countless tiny organisms living inside you, tend the garden of serotonin. When they flourish, the river flows smoothly. When they falter, balance can shift. In this way, what you eat and how you nourish your gut become part of the story of calm. The gut serotonin travels in whispers to the brain, carried through the vagus nerve, shaping emotion from within. This is why feelings often live in the stomach, the flutter of nerves, the heaviness of sorrow, the warmth of contentment. Serotonin is the bridge, tying the mind to the body, making emotions physical and sensations emotional. It is a reminder that calmness is not only a thought but also a feeling in the chest, a softness in the breath, a stillness in the belly. Now follow serotonin into the brain's architecture. In the amygdala, the keeper of fear, serotonin acts as a steadying hand. Too little and fear grows sharp, reactions too quick, memories too heavy. With balance, the amygdala softens, fear becomes manageable, and resilience takes root. In the prefrontal cortex, where decisions are made, serotonin tempers impulses, encouraging patience over haste. It allows thought to pause, to weigh, to consider. In this way, serotonin shapes not only how you feel, but also how you act, guiding behavior with quiet restraint. The hippocampus, the seat of memory, also listens to serotonin. Here, the molecule helps sort the past, deciding which moments to hold bright and which to fade. Without balance, memory can become too heavy, sorrow repeating endlessly, fear replaying without end. With serotonin, the past is softened, integrated, placed gently where it belongs. This is not about forgetting, but about carrying memory without being crushed by it. The chemistry of calm ensures that memory can be part of you without overwhelming you. Beyond thought and memory, serotonin also guides the rhythms of sleep and wake. During the day, it rises with light, keeping you alert and steady. At night, it turns into melatonin, carrying you into dreams. The cycle repeats endlessly, day into night, night into day, balance flowing back and forth. When serotonin falters, sleep may become restless, dreams unsettled, days heavy. When it flows, the cycle is whole, and life feels like a song that always returns to its beginning. Serotonin is not just a molecule, but a rhythm, echoing the turning of the earth. Exercise too stirs serotonin. When you move, when you walk or run or stretch, the body releases tryptophan into the brain, allowing serotonin to rise. The effect is not only physical but emotional, lifting mood, calming thoughts, steadying nerves. This is why movement outdoors beneath sunlight feels especially healing. Light and motion join, doubling serotonin's flow, weaving balance into body and mind. Each step, each breath becomes part of the chemistry of calm. Yet serotonin is not only about the individual but also about connection. When you share trust, when you experience kindness, when you feel belonging, serotonin rises. It binds relationships, creating the soft ease of friendship, the quiet comfort of love. In this way, calmness is not only internal but shared. Serotonin is the chemistry of social harmony, the molecule of community, the reason why togetherness feels healing. To feel balanced is often to feel connected, and serotonin is the invisible bridge that allows this truth. Stress, however, can disrupt the flow. When cortisol, the stress hormone, floods the body, serotonin's pathways can falter, leaving calmness harder to find. This is why chronic stress can feel overwhelming, why resilience weakens, why patience thins. Yet even here, serotonin can be restored. Through sunlight, through rest, through breath, through kindness, the river can return to its rhythm. The body is built not only to suffer, but also to heal, and serotonin is one of its gentlest tools for restoration. Think again of the still pond. Beneath the surface, countless currents move: digestion, memory, sleep, connection. Each is shaped by serotonin, balanced by its flow. When the pond is disturbed, ripples spread outward. When it is calm, it reflects the sky. Serotonin is the balance that makes reflection possible, the quiet molecule that holds chaos at bay and lets peace emerge. As we deepen into the chemistry of calm, it becomes clear that serotonin is more than biology. It is a philosophy written into the body, a lesson in patience, in steadiness, in gentle strength. It tells us that peace is not found in extremes, but in balance, not in sudden highs, but in quiet rhythms. To honor serotonin is to honor this truth, that calmness is possible, not as a rare gift, but as a state already flowing within you, waiting to be noticed, waiting to be felt. The chemistry of calm leads us now to its closing flow, where the story of serotonin settles like dusk over a quiet landscape. We have followed it from the gut to the brain, from sunlight to sleep, from memory to connection. Yet the true lesson of serotonin is not only in the science of receptors or pathways, but in the gentle reminder that balance is both possible and essential. As the final section unfolds, let us drift toward this truth, letting the river of serotonin carry us into reflection, into meaning, into peace. Balance is rarely noticed until it is lost. When serotonin flows smoothly, life feels steady, emotions rise and fall like waves that never overwhelm. You may not think of it at all in those moments, the simple ease of waking refreshed, of eating with satisfaction, of feeling calm in the presence of another. It is only when balance falters, when serotonin sinks too low, that its importance becomes clear. The pond ripples, the current grows restless, and suddenly calm feels distant. In this way, serotonin teaches gratitude for the invisible, for the quiet forces that hold us steady even when we forget they are there. Science, in its search for understanding, has mapped serotonin into pathways and numbers. It has built medicines to extend its presence, to lift mood, to restore steadiness where it is missing. These discoveries are profound, saving lives, healing minds. And yet even scientists admit that serotonin is not the whole story. It is part of a larger symphony, one note among many, its meaning found not only in receptors but in the experiences that surround it. Medicine can support balance, but balance itself is also born in daily rhythms, in sunlight, in movement, in kindness, in rest. Serotonin reminds us that health is not only chemical but holistic, woven from many threads. The poetry of serotonin is found in the way it connects opposites. It links light and darkness, day and night, through its transformation into melatonin. It binds body and mind, traveling from gut to brain, making emotion physical and sensation emotional. It unites self and other, rising in the warmth of connection, in the quiet comfort of belonging. It bridges science and meaning, being both molecule and metaphor, both chemical fact and lesson in balance. To study serotonin is to see how everything in life is connected. The food on your plate, the light in the sky, the laughter you share, the peace you feel. Imagine standing beside a flowing river at twilight. The water moves steadily, carrying leaves, carrying reflections, carrying time. You do not need to control it, you only need to stand near it, to listen, to let it flow. This is what serotonin does within you. It moves quietly without demand, carrying your emotions, carrying your thoughts, carrying your calm. You cannot force it, but you can nurture it by giving yourself the conditions it needs: sunlight, nourishment, movement, connection. In doing so, you honor not only a molecule, but also the truth that balance is a living, breathing thing. There is also a lesson in patience. Serotonin does not act in sudden bursts of excitement. It does not flood the mind with ecstasy or overwhelm with passion. It acts slowly, steadily, creating a background calm. It teaches that contentment is not always dramatic, that peace is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet hum beneath the surface, the stillness that allows joy to be noticed at all. In honoring serotonin, you learn to honor these quiet states, the moments of simplicity, the gentle spaces where nothing extraordinary happens, yet everything feels enough. And so serotonin becomes more than science, it becomes a guide. It tells us to live with rhythm, to respect cycles of day and night, of activity and rest. It shows us the importance of nourishment, not just for the body, but for the mind. It reminds us that connection is as vital as breath, that kindness is as nourishing as food. It whispers that balance is possible, even when life feels chaotic, that calm can be found, not by chasing extremes, but by returning to rhythm. Serotonin is a molecule, yes, but it is also a teacher, carrying lessons written in biology but felt in spirit. As this story closes, let us return to the still pond, the image of balance that has followed us from the beginning. The surface is calm, reflecting the sky. Beneath, currents move, life stirs, water flows. Serotonin is that calm surface, the balance that allows everything beneath to move without chaos. It is unseen, but it is present. It is small, but it is powerful. And in its quiet way, it is the reason you can feel the peace of morning, the contentment of a meal, the steadiness of friendship, the softness of rest. The chemistry of calm is not distant, not rare, not unreachable. It is flowing in you now, steady and soft, reminding you that balance is not something to be sought far away, but something already within. Serotonin is the proof, the gentle current that makes calmness real, the quiet river that carries you through each day. And as you breathe, as you rest, as you move through life, let its lessons settle. That balance is the root of peace, that calm is possible, and that within you flows the chemistry of calm. Dreams are rivers of light that flow through the dark, carrying us to places both strange and familiar. They arrive in the silence of night, when the body rests and the mind drifts inward, weaving fragments of memory and imagination. NTO tapestries that vanish with morning. At the heart of these dreams lies a quiet chemistry, and among the many molecules guiding this journey is serotonin. Though it is often called the keeper of balance by day, serotonin is also a secret traveler by night, shaping the passage from wakefulness into sleep, from thought into dream, from reality into the soft waters of imagination. When night falls, serotonin begins a transformation. The molecule that once lifted your mood in sunlight becomes the raw material for melatonin, the chemical of sleep. Deep in the pineal gland, serotonin folds itself into darkness, changing form so that rest can come. Without this transformation, sleep would be shallow, dreams unsettled, rhythms broken. Serotonin is not only about calm during the day, but also about surrender at night, the gentle guide that helps the body release the weight of hours and drift into the realm of dreams. But serotonin's role does not stop with melatonin. In the deeper layers of the brain, serotonin continues to flow, touching the circuits that shape memory, imagination, and emotion. It whispers to the hippocampus, blending pieces of the past into dreamscapes. It softens the amygdala, allowing fear to be explored safely in symbolic form. It steadies the prefrontal cortex, loosening its grip so that logic can rest and creativity can wander freely. This is why dreams feel both chaotic and meaningful, both strange and deeply personal. Serotonin helps open the doors of imagination while still holding the mind in gentle balance. Consider the way dreams often draw from the day just lived. A face glimpsed briefly, a sound half remembered, a worry unspoken, all may appear in dreams, rearranged into stories that defy reason. Serotonin is part of this weaving, shaping which memories are carried into sleep and how they are stitched together. Without it, the threads would fray, the stories unravel. With it, the dream holds, however fleetingly, until morning scatters it into fragments. Dreams, then, are not only imagination, but also chemistry, the mind's way of sorting, processing, and healing. Scientists have long wondered why we dream, and though no answer is certain, serotonin offers part of the mystery. By steadying the cycles of sleep, it allows the brain to move between stages, from light dozing to deep rest to rapid eye movement where most dreams unfold. Each stage depends on balance, and serotonin is one of the keepers of that balance. Too little and sleep may fragment, too much and the rhythm may falter. In the harmony of sleep, serotonin is both conductor and instrument, ensuring that the night's symphony plays without discord. There is also a gentleness in how serotonin links dreaming to healing. Studies have shown that during dreams, especially in REM sleep, the brain processes emotions, softening their edges, finding meaning in their weight. Serotonin helps guide this process, ensuring that fear does not overwhelm, that sorrow can be carried, that joy can be remembered. It is a kind of therapy written into biology, a nightly renewal that prepares the mind to meet the coming day. In this way, serotonin is not only about feeling in the moment, but also about carrying feelings safely across time. Now imagine yourself lying in darkness, your breath slow, your body warm beneath the covers. Slowly, your mind begins to wander, images rising and fading, scenes shifting like clouds. You do not control them, yet they carry you gently. This is serotonin at work, steadying the river of thought as it becomes the river of dream. You may not notice it, but it is there in every turn of sleep, in every fragment of memory that drifts through the night. Serotonin is the secret companion of dreaming, the quiet current beneath the surface of imagination. As we begin this story of dreams and pathways, let us hold this image close. A river flowing through darkness, unseen but felt, carrying memory, emotion, and imagination into the gentle landscape of sleep. Serotonin is that river, a hidden guide, a soft architect of the night. To follow its story is to understand not only why we feel calm by day, but also why we dream by night, and how the chemistry of calm becomes the poetry of sleep. Let us drift more deeply into the hidden world of dreams, where serotonin's influence weaves itself into the very fabric of night. To fall asleep is to surrender to mystery, to step away from the conscious steering of thought and allow unseen forces to guide the mind. Serotonin is one of those forces, a quiet navigator that steadies the boat as it drifts from the shore of wakefulness into the wide waters of sleep. Without it, the journey would be restless, the waves too rough, the shore too near. With it, the mind can travel further, exploring the dreamscape in safety. Sleep is not a single state, but a cycle of stages, each with its own purpose. Light sleep welcomes you first, where the body begins to loosen and the heart slows. Deep sleep follows, restoring tissues, strengthening the immune system, and renewing the body's energy. Then comes REM sleep, where dreams surge, vivid and strange, carrying fragments of memory and imagination. Serotonin plays a part in guiding each stage, particularly in ensuring the transition from one to the next. Like a hand on the wheel of time, it keeps the rhythm steady, the pattern whole. The balance between serotonin and other chemicals is what makes this cycle possible. Serotonin works alongside GABA, which slows the nervous system, allowing rest. It passes the baton to acetylcholine in REM sleep, where dreaming becomes rich and colorful. It pairs with norepinephrine and dopamine, ensuring that the brain can move between silence and activity, stillness and story. Without serotonin's steadying presence, the transitions might falter, leaving sleep shallow or broken. With it, the cycle flows like a tide, rising and falling in harmony, carrying you into the heart of dreams. Dreams themselves are shaped by the memories the brain chooses to revisit. Serotonin helps filter these memories, deciding which are softened, which are replayed, which are woven into stories. This is why dreams can feel both meaningful and absurd. The mind is sorting through the day's fragments, stitching them into patterns that may not make sense in daylight but hold emotional weight. Serotonin ensures that fear does not overwhelm these patterns, that sorrow can be processed, that joy can linger. In this way, dreams become a form of emotional housekeeping, a nightly balancing act guided by chemistry. Consider the way children dream. Their sleep cycles are longer in REM, their serotonin pathways more active in shaping early memory. This is why childhood dreams can feel so vivid, so strange, so alive. The developing brain is building connections, and serotonin is at the heart of this weaving. For adults, REM sleep is shorter but still essential, allowing the mind to process complex emotions, to consolidate learning, to renew resilience. Across all ages, serotonin remains a steady companion, whispering through the cycles, ensuring that dreaming does its quiet work. Science has explored what happens when serotonin is disrupted during sleep. Animals deprived of serotonin lose the ability to move smoothly into REM, their dreams shallow, their rhythms broken. Humans with serotonin imbalances often experience insomnia, restless nights, or vivid nightmares. Even in sleep disorders like sleep apnea or narcolepsy, serotonin is implicated, its pathways disrupted, its balance lost. These findings remind us how central this molecule is not only to mood, but also to the architecture of sleep itself. The dreamscape is fragile, and serotonin is one of the builders that keep it standing. But beyond science lies the poetry of dreams. When you dream of flying, of falling, of walking through forgotten places, serotonin is part of the chemistry that makes those visions possible. It opens the gates between memory and imagination, allowing the mind to wander freely. Dreams become both a release and a rehearsal, a release of the emotions carried through the day, a rehearsal for the challenges of tomorrow. Serotonin steadies this process, ensuring that the river does not flood, that the night's voyage remains safe. It is the unseen guardian of the dream. Imagine a night where sleep comes easily. You drift into stillness, your breath slows, your body softens. Serotonin flows quietly, steadying the rhythm. Hours later, you find yourself in a dream, walking through a garden you half remember, speaking with voices you do not recognize yet somehow know. You wake and the dream fades, but the calm remains. This is serotonin's gift, not only the dream itself, but the healing it leaves behind, the balance it restores. Dreams may vanish with morning, but their influence lingers, carried by the chemistry of calm. Dreams are often seen as mysterious, even mystical. And perhaps they are. But within their mystery lies biology, and within their biology lies serotonin, the molecule that makes the journey possible. By guiding sleep cycles, by shaping memory, by softening emotion, serotonin ensures that dreams are not chaos but a kind of order, not mere illusions but part of healing. To dream is to be human, and to dream with calm is to be carried by serotonin, the gentle traveler of the night. Dreams in the synapse are not only the flickering of imagination but the gentle work of chemistry, and serotonin is one of the most faithful architects of that hidden world. As we move toward the close of this story, let us pause in the quiet of night and notice how the unseen molecule guides the mind through its most vulnerable hours. Serotonin is not loud in this role. It does not demand recognition. Instead, it flows like a lantern-lit current beneath the surface, steadying each turn of sleep, protecting the fragile balance between rest and renewal. When you drift into REM sleep, the brain becomes paradoxical. It is deeply at rest and yet vividly alive, buzzing with activity that rivals wakefulness. Serotonin helps guide this paradox, tempering the surges of other neurotransmitters so that the mind does not spin out of control. Dopamine may bring flashes of imagery, norepinephrine may spark intensity, acetylcholine may flood the dream with detail, but serotonin steadies them all, ensuring that the dream is not endless chaos but a tapestry, fragile yet meaningful. It is the calm hand in a crowded room, the reason the dream holds together instead of dissolving into confusion. In the absence of serotonin, this balance falters. Nightmares grow sharper, sleep grows restless, and the line between dream and waking blurs. This is why disruptions in serotonin are linked not only to insomnia, but also to conditions where dreams intrude on daylight like narcolepsy. Without the river flowing steadily, the boundaries of night and day, of imagination and reality can erode. Serotonin keeps those boundaries soft but intact, allowing the mind to explore freely without losing its way. There is also a tenderness in how serotonin ties dreams to healing. Studies show that during dreaming, particularly in REM, the brain revisits emotional experiences, replaying them in softer tones. A moment of fear from the day may return as a symbolic story, gentler and safer. A sorrow may reappear in metaphor, allowing it to be processed without overwhelming the heart. Serotonin is the quiet companion in this therapy, ensuring that the emotions are touched but not drowned. In this way, dreams become a nightly renewal, a hidden medicine woven into sleep itself. Think of the way a dream can change how you feel when you wake. A joyful dream may leave you lighter even if the details fade. A heavy dream may linger, but often with less weight than the real sorrow it reflected. Sometimes a dream brings clarity, offering solutions or perspectives that waking thought could not find. These gifts are part of serotonin's subtle work. It helps sort what matters, soften what hurts, and carry forward what heals. By morning, you are not the same as you were before sleep. You have been changed, however quietly, by chemistry and by dream. But serotonin's role in dreams also reveals a larger lesson about life itself. Just as it steadies the cycles of sleep, it steadies the cycles of waking. It teaches that balance comes not from avoiding extremes, but from allowing rhythm to carry you. Dreams show that even chaos can be shaped into meaning, that even fragments can be woven into story. Serotonin ensures that this weaving does not unravel. It reminds us that healing is often subtle, that renewal comes not in sudden bursts but in quiet, nightly returns. Now imagine the moment of waking. The dream dissolves, the morning light enters, and serotonin begins its daytime role once more, lifting mood, sharpening thought, preparing you for the hours ahead. It is the same molecule shifting roles, moving from dream to wake, from night to day. This continuity is its poetry. Serotonin is the thread that stitches the fabric of your life together, from sleeping to waking, from memory to imagination, from sorrow to peace. Without it, the fabric would fray. With it, the fabric holds soft and whole. The story of dreams in the synapse is therefore not only about sleep, but about connection. It shows that what happens in the night carries into the day, that the molecules of calm are also the molecules of resilience. Serotonin is the bridge that ensures this continuity, the river that flows without pause. To dream is to heal, to rest is to prepare, and to wake is to carry forward what has been renewed. Serotonin is the quiet guide through all of it, the unseen traveler that keeps the journey safe. As this story ends, imagine once more the dark river of night. Above it, stars shine, and beneath it, dreams unfold. Serotonin is the current in that river, steady and soft, carrying the fragments of your life into the gentle patterns of sleep. By morning, the river has carried you safely to the shore of waking, leaving you balanced, renewed, at peace. Dreams may vanish, but the calm remains, and in that calm lives serotonin, the whispering traveler of the night. Contentment is like an echo, soft, lingering, carried beyond the moment in which it began. It is not the sudden brightness of joy, nor the sharp rush of excitement. Instead, it is the quiet resonance that follows, the steady hum that remains after laughter fades, after sunlight lowers, after connection is felt. At the heart of this echo lies serotonin, the molecule that whispers balance into being, shaping the way contentment is felt and remembered. To understand serotonin is to listen closely to these echoes, for they tell us why peace lasts, why calm lingers, why contentment stays with us like a gentle aftersound. Serotonin does not announce itself in peaks or floods. It does not shout in the way dopamine does when reward is close, or in the way adrenaline does when urgency rises. Instead, it hums quietly, steadying the background of the mind. It is the current beneath the surface, the tone beneath the melody, the echo that makes the song whole. This is why serotonin is so deeply tied to contentment. It ensures that happiness is not only a flash but also a presence, not only an event but also a state. Through serotonin, the joy of a moment can stretch into the peace of an hour. Think of a shared meal, the warmth of food and company blending into ease. Think of walking slowly beneath trees, the air carrying the scent of leaves. Think of resting after effort, the body tired but at peace. These are moments in which serotonin flows, shaping not only how you feel but how long the feeling lasts. Without it, joy would flicker and vanish. With it, joy leaves an echo, a resonance that steadies the mind. Contentment, then, is not just in the moment but in the memory, not just in the event but in the continuation, carried by serotonin's quiet flow. Science has traced serotonin's pathways and found them woven into every aspect of life that creates calm. In the gut, serotonin guides digestion, allowing nourishment to be felt as satisfaction. In the brain, it steadies the amygdala, softening fear, quieting restlessness. In the cortex, it tempers thought, encouraging patience, slowing haste. In the hippocampus, it shapes memory, ensuring that peace can be recalled as easily as sorrow. Each role is small, but together they create the background of well-being, the echo of contentment that follows daily life. This is not accidental but designed, a system that ensures balance, a rhythm that ensures calm. Yet serotonin is not only a personal echo but also a shared one. When we connect with others through kindness, through trust, through belonging, serotonin rises, deepening the sense of peace. The echo is not confined to one mind but resonates between many, binding people together with the chemistry of ease. This is why connection feels calming, why loneliness feels heavy. Serotonin is part of the invisible thread of community, reminding us that contentment is not only individual but collective, not only felt within but shared between. It is the echo of togetherness, carried softly from one heart to another. The echo of contentment also moves through time. Serotonin links the present to the past, shaping memory so that peace can be carried forward. A gentle day by the sea, a moment of laughter, a time of rest, serotonin ensures that these memories do not vanish but remain soft and accessible. When recalled, they bring not only thought but feeling, a return of the calm itself. In this way, serotonin is a keeper of echoes, allowing moments of balance to ripple across years, shaping the story of who we are. Now imagine yourself sitting quietly at the end of the day. The world grows dim, but you feel no urgency, no unrest. Instead, there is a calm, a soft echo of the hours lived. Serotonin is flowing gently, steadying your mood, allowing the peace of the day to remain. It is not dramatic, not overwhelming, but it is enough. It is balance, it is contentment, it is the reason the simple act of being feels complete. This is the echo of contentment, and serotonin is the whisper that carries it, unseen yet deeply felt. As we begin this final story, let us hold on to this truth, that the quietest forces are often the most powerful. Contentment does not shout, it hums, it lingers, it echoes, and serotonin is the reason it can. To follow its story is to learn how peace is woven into us, not only in fleeting joy but in lasting calm, not only in sharp moments but in steady presence. This is the chemistry of echoes, the science of contentment, the whisper of balance carried softly through time. Let us move deeper into the echo of contentment, following the way serotonin carries peace across the hours and into the body, the mind, and the bonds we share. If the first glimpse showed us how serotonin steadies joy and leaves calm in its place, now we drift further, noticing how it weaves through memory, connection, rhythm, and healing. Contentment is not a single moment but a continuity, and serotonin is the thread that makes that continuity possible. Begin with memory. Serotonin flows through the hippocampus, where experiences are stored and recalled. Here it shapes not only what is remembered but how it feels when recalled. Without serotonin, memories of peace may fade quickly or be overshadowed by sharper, heavier recollections. With it, the calm remains accessible, ready to return when needed. This is why a walk by the ocean can be felt again years later, why the laughter of a friend can still bring warmth long after the moment has passed. Serotonin does not only record the memory, but preserves the feeling, creating echoes that extend across time. From memory, serotonin drifts into connection. When you share kindness, trust, or affection, serotonin rises, softening the heart, deepening the sense of belonging. The echo of contentment is not confined to one mind but travels between many, resonating in the shared chemistry of community. This is why sitting quietly with a loved one can feel deeply satisfying even without words, why a simple gesture of trust can steady the spirit. Serotonin is the unseen bridge, ensuring that contentment is not only personal but collective, not only within but between. It allows peace to echo across people, binding lives together with threads of calm. The rhythm of life also shapes serotonin's flow, and in turn, serotonin shapes rhythm. Light awakens it in the morning, food sustains it through the day, rest transforms it at night. When these rhythms are steady, serotonin flows smoothly, carrying contentment with ease. When rhythms falter, when sleep is restless, when light is absent, when nourishment is poor, serotonin stumbles and contentment becomes harder to find. This teaches us that peace is not accidental but cultivated, woven into daily cycles. Serotonin is the quiet reminder that balance depends on rhythm, that the echo of contentment comes from harmony with time. Exercise too deepens the echo. When the body moves, serotonin rises, leaving behind not only energy but calm. This is why a walk, a stretch, or a gentle run can leave you peaceful long after the movement ends. The echo of effort is contentment carried by serotonin. In this way, the molecule ensures that balance follows exertion, that rest follows activity, that calm follows motion. It is the body's way of rewarding rhythm, of teaching that movement and stillness must both have their place. But serotonin also speaks in times of difficulty. When stress weighs heavily, serotonin can falter, leaving contentment distant. Yet even then, small practices can restore its flow: light, breath, nourishment, kindness. These practices are like soft strikes on a bell, sending ripples outward, building echoes again. Serotonin is the chemistry of resilience, ensuring that even when balance is lost, it can be found once more. Contentment is not the absence of struggle, but the return to calm after struggle, and serotonin is the reason that return is possible. Science has explored serotonin's echoes in therapy, noticing how treatments that raise its flow not only ease immediate sorrow, but also restore the ability to feel contentment again. Medicines like SSRIs extend serotonin's presence in the synapse, allowing its voice to linger, allowing echoes to last. For many, this restores the background calm that makes joy possible, that makes peace sustainable. Yet science also shows that medicine is only part of the story. Contentment grows most fully when chemistry is joined with rhythm, connection, and meaning. Serotonin is the chemistry, but life itself is the echo. Now imagine a quiet evening, the day behind you. You sit with a book or gaze at the sky or simply breathe in silence. There is no sharp joy, no dramatic thrill, only calm. That calm is serotonin's gift, the echo of all that has passed through the day, the light, the food, the connections, the moments of rest. It lingers because serotonin carries it, allowing peace to remain after action ends. This is the essence of contentment. Not a peak but a hum, not a firework but an echo, not a rush but a resonance that steadies the soul. As we drift deeper into this story, it becomes clear that serotonin is not only a molecule of balance but also a molecule of continuity. It ensures that peace is not fleeting, that calm can follow chaos, that contentment can remain even in the absence of joy. It is the unseen river that carries the echo of each gentle moment, extending it across time, weaving it into memory, binding it to connection. Contentment lasts because serotonin carries it, because the chemistry of calm knows how to linger. The echo of contentment lingers like a fading song, and serotonin is the reason the music does not vanish at once, but continues softly in the background of life. As we move to the close of this final story, let us listen carefully to this echo, tracing how serotonin weaves peace into the fabric of existence. It is not only science but also philosophy, not only molecule but metaphor, teaching that calmness is not fleeting but lasting, not a spark but a glow, not an instant but an echo. When you wake to the sound of morning birds and feel calm rather than rushed, serotonin is already at work. It steadies your breath, softens your mood, and ensures that the peace of sleep carries into the new day. When you share laughter with another, serotonin ensures that the warmth of that moment does not end when the laughter ends but remains as a soft glow afterward. When you eat, when you walk, when you rest, serotonin leaves echoes of calm that stretch beyond the act itself. In this way, contentment becomes not an isolated moment, but a continuous thread woven through the hours. Without serotonin, the thread frays. Happiness flickers and vanishes, fear sharpens and remains, sorrow grows heavy and unmoving. Contentment becomes harder to sustain, peace more difficult to find. This is why serotonin is central not only to well-being but also to resilience. It ensures that peace does not collapse under weight, that joy is not lost too quickly, that calm is always possible to return to. It is not perfection but balance. Not absence of struggle, but the promise of recovery. The echo of contentment is fragile, but serotonin is the hand that carries it forward. Science has revealed some of this truth, mapping the receptors that serotonin touches, the pathways it travels, the ways it lingers in the synapse. Medicines have been built to strengthen its echo, to restore calm when it falters. Therapies have been shaped to guide its flow with rhythm and routine. And yet, beyond the science, there is still mystery: why contentment feels like resonance, why calm hums like a song, why the echo of peace feels timeless. Serotonin is part of the answer, but not the whole. The rest lies in the way life itself is lived, in the choices that nurture balance, in the rhythms that honor harmony. Think of the way light fades at dusk. The sun lowers, but its warmth lingers in the air, its glow remains in the sky, its memory stays in the mind. This is the echo of sunlight, and serotonin carries it within you as the echo of contentment. Even as the moment passes, its presence remains. Even as the day ends, its calm endures. Serotonin ensures that life is not a series of isolated sparks, but a continuous glow, where peace stretches beyond the present into the memory, into the feeling, into the self. Connection deepens this echo further. When you sit in silence with another person and feel peace simply in their presence, serotonin rises. The calm does not end when you part, but stays with you, an echo of belonging that lingers in the heart. This is why relationships nourish so deeply, why trust and kindness leave such lasting marks. Serotonin ensures that connection is not only felt in the moment but carried forward, leaving behind a resonance that steadies the spirit long after the moment has passed. Contentment is not only your echo, but also the echo of others, resonating between lives. As we draw this story to a close, imagine standing in a quiet place, perhaps a field at sunset, perhaps a room filled with the gentle hush of evening. The day is ending, but peace remains. You feel no urgency, no restlessness, only calm. That calm is serotonin, the echo of hours lived, the chemistry of balance leaving its imprint. It is not dramatic, not overwhelming, but it is enough. It is the reason you can feel steady, the reason you can feel whole, the reason peace can stay even when nothing extraordinary is happening. The echo of contentment carried by serotonin teaches us that peace is not outside of us but within. It shows us that the smallest molecules can shape the largest feelings, that chemistry and meaning are intertwined, that life's deepest calm is built from invisible currents. To listen to this echo is to honor the quiet power of balance, the soft strength of resilience, the hidden river that makes calm possible. And so, with this final whisper, the story settles. Serotonin flows quietly, carrying the echoes of peace into tomorrow, into memory, into the soft hum of life itself. The science is real, the metaphor is true, and together they tell the same story. That contentment is an echo, and serotonin is the reason it can be heard. As long as this molecule flows, the echo will remain steady and gentle, reminding you always that peace is possible, that calm is within reach, that the echo of contentment is part of who you are.